Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the seventh lecture of data mining. So today we will wrap up our discussion on data preprocessing. There were a few more things that we had to discuss. And then we will start with one of the most important tasks in data mining, which is frequent pattern mining. So frequent pattern mining would take us, I think, about 2 weeks, because there are a few algorithms that we will be discussing, and we'll be discussing them in a number of settings. So today also, as you know, we will have a quiz. The quiz would start at 6:05 p.m. and you have a window till 6:20. The quiz is, I think, 11 minutes long. So same 5 questions, and you have to attempt them in order from start to end. So before I move forward, are there any questions or comments? Okay, so I assume there are no questions. So we can then get started. I have updated the reading links file on LMS. So you should take a look at it again. You should develop a habit of looking at it frequently. I have added some more content regarding data scaling, for example, and then some more links on frequent pattern mining. All right, so if there are no questions, we can then go ahead. So last time we were talking about data normalization. So data normalization, this word is kind of an overloaded word. So in different contexts, it might mean different things. Uh, so sometimes it does get a bit confusing what exactly is normalization. So normalization, you should understand it from a more of a English perspective. So you're trying to, so basically normalization means that you want to transform your data such that there are fewer variations, okay? Or the variations are limited or restricted in some way. Okay? So that's the normalization definition that you should think about, although if you think about it in a more technical sense, it might be somewhat different. So for example, we talked about the min-max normalization technique for normalizing attribute values. So this is basically a scaling, a linear scaling from a higher range to a lower range, or whatever range that you want to specify. Okay? And then we talked about z-score normalization. So z-score normalization actually I think there is a chat में debate चल रही है, तो I think quiz we decided कि there will be a quiz every Monday. So आपस में जरा chat थोड़ा सा कम ही रखा करें, so because ये मुझे भी फिर feedback आ रही होती है, that kind of distracts me. ठीक है? Okay, so we were talking about z-score normalization. Z-score normalization actually is also known by another name. So which is called standardization. Okay? So you might hear the word standardization, you might hear the word normalization. So sometimes they are used interchangeably. but standardization is usually associated with z-score normalization. Okay? So you need to be aware of that. And there are some other techniques for scaling or normalization as well. So one is called decimal scaling, but this is not really used in practice. It is given in the book, so I won't go over it in detail. So decimal scaling, it's not really used much in practice. So essentially decimal scaling means that you're dividing with a constant uh, number, which are powers of 10, so that you can move your points according to your desire. ठीक है, तो decimal point आप move कर सकते हैं. Okay, so we also mentioned why we would like to use normalization. So normalization is typically used for applications like clustering, even classification, especially if you're using a technique like SVM. It's commonly used in SVM. In neural networks, it doesn't make much of a difference, but it's always helpful to normalize. But SVM, it is generally found to be very nice to have normalized input variables. ठीक है, clustering के लिए भी जरूरत पड़ती है because we are using a similarity measure to define the similarity between two observations. So if one observation, one attribute has a wide range, then the similarity measure would be put off by that. In other words, that attribute would kind of define the similarity, and the other attribute would have very little impact. So that's why we normalize all attributes to some fixed range. ठीक है? Okay. So actually, so any questions so far? So normalization and standardization or scaling is typically not used for most descriptive data mining techniques, because in descriptive data mining techniques, you want to preserve the pattern. You want to preserve the underlying distribution across the attributes. So for such applications, for example, frequent pattern mining, we do not use, or we avoid, unless there is some specific need for that. Usually we do not apply scaling for such type of applications. So not typically used for descriptive data, although clustering is also descriptive data mining. So let me just make it more specific. Not used for example, pattern discovery. So e.g., for example, frequent pattern mining. Okay. All right. So this was normalization, which, by the way, we studied it under the category of data transformation. So now let's move on to the last category, which is discretization. So discretization is converting numeric values to discrete labels. So converting numeric values to discrete labels or values. Okay. So again, you can have a lot of techniques, but in practice, only a few are used, or maybe one or two are used in practice usually, unless you have a very specialized task to do. So let me just give you an overview. So in general, these techniques can be supervised and unsupervised. So they can be unsupervised or supervised. So these techniques, these names, of course, are from machine learning. It essentially means that if it is unsupervised, so you remember discretization is done to numeric attributes. ठीक है ना? So numeric attributes have continuous values. We want to reduce the range. We want to reduce the distinct values in that attribute by assigning some finite number of labels. ठीक है ना, सिर्फ कंटिन्यूस एट्रीब्यूट्स पे या न्यूमेरिक एट्रीब्यूट्स पे डिस्क्रिटाइजेशन होती है. So in unsupervised techniques, we just rely upon that particular attribute. So let's say आपका attribute that you want to discretize is height. ठीक है? If you just rely upon the values in height, that would be unsupervised. But if you rely upon some other attributes information, then it would be supervised for discretization, of course. So let's say you want to discretize height, but you are using, for example, gender information. ठीक है? Then this would be supervised. ठीक है? But supervised technique generally are very rare in pre-processing. Generally supervised technique classification के साथ टाइप की होती हैं. तो generally जब आप classification करना चाह रहे हैं तो फिर आपको discretization की जरूरत ही नहीं है, डायरेक्ट आप classification algorithm लगा दें. But anyway, आपको एक लिस्ट पता होनी चाहिए किस तरह आप कर सकते हैं. So usually जितनी भी supervised techniques हैं, they are mostly based on classification. For example, you can use a decision tree. ठीक है? You can use, for example, जो book में दिया हुआ है chi-merge, which is based on the chi-square measure, but it's merging cells based on the chi-square between height and gender, for example. Class supervised है. ठीक है? तो so coming back to the unsupervised. So unsupervised means the most common technique that we have studied and that is used in different places is binning. And you all know what binning is. Let's say height आपका attribute है, उसको आप equi-width bins में डाल दें, equi-width bins में divide कर दें और हर एक bin को एक label दे दें. So that's discretization. Or you can do equi-depth and हर एक bin को एक label दे दें. ठीक है? So, and related to binning, which is unsupervised as well, you can apply some clustering technique as well. For example, k-means clustering से भी आप discretization कर सकते हैं. ठीक है? So k-means clustering हम later on पढ़ेंगे भी डिटेल में. But essentially k-means clustering में क्या होता है, जो dense regions होते हैं वो identify हो जाते हैं. So let's say आपके पास कोई 1D data set है. Let's say मैं कोई example देता हूँ, 1 1 1 2 3 5 5 5 sorry 5 5 5. So you notice that one का जो value occurs a lot, so that is a dense region. So जो clustering के techniques हैं, या equi-depth binning की जो techniques है, वो dense regions ढूंढती हैं और उनके इर्द गिर्द वो एक region बना देते हैं, which you can then use to label. ठीक है? So k-means भी वही करती है, binning with equi-depth भी वही करता है, but of course that technique is less sophisticated. K-means is more sophisticated, or it has greater power than simple equi-depth binning. So any questions? Okay. There is another categorization of techniques for discretization. We say that some techniques are top-down, some techniques are bottom-up, and they can be supervised or they can be unsupervised. So you can say top-down versus bottom-up. So top-down का मतलब ये है कि शुरू में आपके पास पूरा जो range है वो एक लेवल है, then you split into smaller ranges. ठीक है? और बॉटम अप में आप कह लें कि हर एक वैल्यू को आप एक सेपरेट लेबल ले लें और बाद में मर्ज करें. ठीक है? सो टॉप डाउन इज स्प्लिटिंग. So you can say this is splitting versus merging. So this is based on the operations that are done in the techniques. So unsupervised technique जैसे binning है, So binning is basically splitting. So K means is also splitting, top down है mostly. Although आगे जाके देखेंगे तो बॉटम अप भी क्लस्टरिंग हो सकती है. और काई मर्ज जो है वो मर्जिंग है, हर एक वैल्यू को लेके मर्ज करने, बड़े बड़े रीजन्स बनाने की कोशिश करता है. तो सो बॉटम लाइन क्या है? बॉटम लाइन है कि यूजुअली अनसुपरवाइज टेक्निक्स यूज होती हैं, यूजुअली सिंपलर टेक्निक्स यूज होती हैं. बिनिंग, के मींस में भी are used, and for very rare cases, for very specific cases, you might use some supervised techniques like decision trees or chi-merge. Okay. So this was discretization. One final comment about concept hierarchy. So whenever you have labels, labels are often written or defined to define or to identify a concept. For example, जैसे height है, height को originally is continuous value, let's say in feet, but जब आपने इसको discretize कर दिया, आप maybe you have defined 3 labels. Maybe एक label था short, then you have medium, और then maybe tall. ठीक है ना? तो ये actually concept है which humans can understand by looking at the label. Short is a concept, medium is a concept, and tall is a concept which humans can readily understand. ठीक है? So oftentimes concepts may have hierarchies. ठीक है? So for example, the typical example, of course, this occurs in many other places as well. So let me give you an example of, let's say, a retail store. So there are usually hierarchies. So one level of the hierarchy might be the store location. Okay? So there might be a store in DHA, there might be a store in, so this is a dimension which might have different values. So DHA might be a value, Gulberg might be a value, and so on. Okay? So this is one level. And then the next level, you can say department within a store. Okay? So in this level, you might have, for example, clothing department. Then you have electronics, for example, and so on. Okay? So this is the next level. Then there might be further levels. So within each level, within each of those departments, there might be further categorizations. For example, you can call this, let's say, lines, for example, product lines, you can say. Okay? So for example, under, for example, clothing, you might have menswear, for example. Okay? You might have women's wear. And so on. And then there can be further subdivisions as well. And then maybe at the end of the day, you might have what is known as shelf keeping unit. This is the individual unique ID for each item that is being sold. Okay? So you notice that there is a hierarchy. कोई भी एक unique ID, एक individual item है, that will belong to some line, that will belong to some department, that will belong to some store. ठीक है? तो concepts hierarchies, as we will see in frequent pattern mining, may help you define patterns in a better way. Okay? And all of this is based on discrete labels. Labels that define or convey some level of concept. So sometimes concept hierarchy can be inferred automatically, but usually humans have to define the hierarchy. जैसे ऊपर जो मैंने hierarchy बनाई है store की, department की, line की, SKU की, usually ये आपको खुद ही specify करनी पड़ती है. But let's say if you want, let's say for some data set which you don't have much knowledge of, maybe you can infer hierarchies automatically. And the approach is very simple. So you notice that if you look at the lowest level, SKU, how many distinct SKUs do you have? Or I should say, okay, the number of distinct SKUs, how does that compare with the number of distinct stores? Someone tell me, stores ज़्यादा होंगे कि SKUs ज़्यादा होंगे?
SKUs ज़्यादा होंगे obviously.
ठीक है, तो so SKUs ज़्यादा होंगे. So you can then maybe look at your data set and look at the attributes. जो attributes की distinct values बहुत ज़्यादा हैं, that might form a lower level hierarchy. जिस attributes के distinct levels कम हैं, that might be a higher level hierarchy. ठीक है? So automatically आप इस तरह quickly infer कर सकते हैं, and then maybe let the human judge decide finally. ठीक है? So another common example of hierarchy is in addresses. I think all of you are familiar with this. So address basically क्या होता है? First line में typically आपके पास apartment या house number होता है, ठीक है ना? Then we have street, then you have basically city, and then maybe you have country or state भी हो सकता है, and then you have country. So यहाँ भी एक hierarchy है, ठीक है ना? So is there a hierarchy in the height example? No, in the example that I defined, not really, but if you had defined multiple labels, then maybe you can use those hierarchies. So for example, एक top level hierarchy आप ये कह सकते हैं कि short, medium, and tall. And then within short, you can say, you can have further, for example, so I think, although short is not a, you can say, ethically correct term, but anyway, just to give an example, socially or culturally correct term. So for example, I can give you the example, let's say, जो clothing sizes होते हैं, large एक clothing size होता है, ठीक है ना? So within large, this might be one category, but इसकी फिर further subcategory शायद आपने define की हो. Maybe आपके पास XL है, then XXL है, and then XXXL है, ठीक है? So all of this might be just large, but आप lower level पे जाएंगे तो ये XL भी एक होगा, XXL भी होगा, triple XL भी होगा, ठीक है? So it depends on how you have defined your hierarchy and how you have labeled your data set.
Excuse me, sir.
जी.
ये जो concept hierarchy है, ये हम data reduction में भी use करते हैं या सिर्फ discretization में use होती है?
Concept hierarchy अभी तो मैं as an understanding या idea आपको दे रहा हूँ, but it can be used for reduction.
Okay.
Because as you can see, let's say आपके data set में lower level के labels सिर्फ दिए हुए, let's say ये वाले level के दिए हुए, XXL, XXL, and then medium का some medium, सारे इस level के दिए हुए. Maybe you can group all of them and just give them large. तो इस तरह आपकी numerosity reduction
Okay.
होगी, distinct labels कम होंगे.
Okay.
ठीक है ना? तो you can use it for reduction as well. So that's right. और दूसरा क्या था आपका point? दो बताए थे आपने.
नहीं सर, यही था कि can it be used for reduction or not? Secondly, binning एक similar चीज जो book में लिखी हुई थी chapter में, वो was that binning can also be used for reduction. So उसके अंदर मेरे ख्याल से same concept use होता है, right?
Exactly. उसमें भी same concept होता है. Because binning, जैसे हमने ऊपर बताया, binning is used for discretization. और जो पूरा जो bin है, उसमें जितनी भी values आ रही हैं, उसको एक label दे दें आप. ठीक है ना? So number of distinct values आपके फिर कम हो जाएंगे data set में. So that's a form of reduction.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any questions? I think we have kind of gone through the entire data pre-processing chapter. I think most of this or somewhat this some of this was somewhat boring, but ये सर्वे करना इसलिए जरूरी होता है कि एवरीवन नोज के अवेलेबल क्या है और ऑप्शंस क्या हैं. और फिर थोड़ा बहुत ये आइडिया भी होना चाहिए कौन सा ऑप्शन कहाँ अप्लाई करना चाहिए, किस सेटिंग में करना चाहिए, किस सेटिंग में नहीं करना चाहिए. इसलिए वी वेंट थ्रू दिस एंटायर sequence of many different things in a relatively short time. So any questions before we close this chapter and move on to the next? So for data mining, and I think for all computer science, you usually have tons of material available on the web. So आप extra reading जरूर किया करें. कुछ तो मैंने links, reading links में डाले हुए हैं, but you can always do your own search and reading as well. So that is always helpful. Different perspectives से लोगों के information आपको मिलेगी. Some have a more practical perspective, some has a theoretical perspective, and others would give you code as well. So it always good to spend some time on the web and look at the related stuff on the web. And also there are lots of books available. आपको भी मैंने शायद 3 books बताई हैं. Data mining concepts and techniques, उसमें भी ये मिल जाएगा. Introduction to data mining की book है, उसमें भी सब कुछ more or less सब कुछ ये होगा. और तीसरी book जो text data mining the text book, उसमें भी content होगा. So you can read from those sources as well. Okay, so if there are no further questions, let's move on to the next chapter, which is chapter 5 of your data mining and concepts and technique textbook. And it might be, I don't know which chapter it is in the Intro to DM book. So, and that is basically frequent pattern mining. Okay? And usually associated with this is we also call association mining. Okay? This is chapter 5 in DM concepts and techniques. Okay. All right. All right. So let me start first with the slides and then I'll build the motivation for this. So यहाँ actually 06 is slide को दिया हुआ, but it's chapter 5 in the new edition. Maybe I'm using the old slide, I'm not too sure. और नया edition में ये chapter 5 है. एक second मैंने क्या करना है. Okay. हाँ यहाँ chapter 5 ही लिखा हुआ है actually. ठीक है. Okay. So what is frequent pattern analysis? And later on we will see actually it is not always just frequent, it's sometimes also rare pattern analysis. So in general it is about patterns, okay? But most of it or vast majority of it is frequent. So that's why you see the name frequent pattern analysis. So what is a frequent pattern? So pattern, as the name suggests, is a regularity. And that regularity might be different for different types of data. Okay? So as you can see in the definition, it could be a item set. So item set is a word that was coined in this actual data mining idea. So item set is a set of items. So item set को इकट्ठा कर दिया इन्होंने. ठीक है? So items could be anything. it could be items bought at a store. It could be transactions made with a credit card. It could be multiple people trying to log into a website. So those would be any transaction could be represented as an item. So, and of course, patterns could be found in other forms as well. Sequences could be of interest, and that could be a pattern. Structures in graphs could be of interest, that could be a pattern. So usually these are the three most common forms of pattern that we are interested in. So this idea of frequent pattern mining, association mining, was proposed in the early 1990s. And this, as I mentioned, I think earlier on as well, was the main reason for the popularity of data mining. Before this point in time, frequent pattern mining wasn't known to be a mainstream task for machine learning or statistics. ठीक है, so इसी वजह से ये डेटा माइनिंग एक पॉपुलर सेपरेट फील्ड बन गई, ऑल्दो बाकी काफी सारी चीजें इसमें स्टैटिस्टिक्स या मशीन लर्निंग से आती हैं, बट ये चीज यूनिक है. ठीक है, so what is the motivation for frequent pattern mining? So we want to find such regularities that occur frequently in our data. So they might represent information of interest. Remember, data mining is trying to find information of interest, and such frequent patterns would also be non-trivial. They will be implicit. They will be in the data but we wouldn't really know where they are. We have to actually go out and find them. So that's why this is data mining. Okay. So the earliest success story for item set and frequent pattern mining was in the retail industry and what is known as market basket analysis. So which means that whenever you go to a grocery store, you take a basket and check out. So that's a transaction. And in that transaction, you have multiple items that you have taken. So which item do you buy together? And which set of items are bought together by multiple people? So that would be frequent. So we are interested in such kind of items. So this is basically one of the first main applications of or successful applications of frequent item set mining. And then from item sets, you can define rules as well. So maybe if you have purchased X, Y, Z today, then would you buy A, B, C tomorrow? So this is like an implication, a rule. Again, you can do this or find this using association rule mining and frequent pattern mining. So you can also analyze sequences. So sequences could be from other domains as well. For example, in NLP, they could be from bioinformatics. They could be web clickstream data. So those are also sequences. You go to website A, then you go to website B, then you go back to website A, and so on. So that's a sequence. Okay. So basically, frequent pattern mining has application in many industries. So retail industry, in the networking domain, in the bioinformatics domain, it has applications. Okay. So, and the business community is quite fond of this technique because this is a descriptive data mining, mostly descriptive data mining. Given large amounts of data, it kind of summarizes the key nuggets of information in that data. Okay. All right. So obviously, if a pattern is occurring frequently in a data, so that's a useful property to know, right? So it's a behavior that occurs frequently. It's a pattern that occurs frequently and you can monetize it, for example, from a business perspective. Okay? And of course, in different domains, they have other ways of quantifying the value of data. Okay? And frequent pattern mining patterns that you find might be features for other techniques as well. For example, you can use them as features for clustering, you can use them as features for classification, you can use them as part of outlier analysis. So in general, they have more applications beyond the pattern itself. Okay. And then, of course, you can get deeper into the statistical properties of data. What are the causal relationships? What are the relationships between various events and so on? All of this can be derived from frequent pattern mining. Okay. So let me come back to my notes here. Okay. Okay. So we talked about various types of patterns, and those types of patterns usually occur in different types of databases. So previously, we have primarily focused on databases which we call relational databases from your databases courses, or you can say rows and columns, where columns are features and the number of columns is fixed. Okay? So these are relational databases. Number of columns are fixed. Each column represents a feature and each row represents a observation. So now let me introduce another database, although it's very also tabular, but it's somewhat different, transactional. So transactional database. So in a transactional database, each row or each observation is a transaction. Okay? And a transaction, as the name suggests, is an event, and there might be multiple things occurring in that event. So to illustrate this, we can think of market basket analysis, which is you go to a retail store, purchase items, and check out. So let's say I have the first observation. Some person, I just identify that as I, goes to the store and purchases some items. So let's say he purchased milk and butter and just checks out. Only two things. So this is one transaction. Let's say another person comes in, that person buys bread, buys tea, buy, let's say, something else, maybe batteries, for example. I just got my batteries today. So thanks to all those who responded to my request last time. So my pen is working, so I can rely upon my pen when needed. Okay. So this is the second transaction. And the third transaction, let's say shoes and let's say sugar, let's say. Okay. So this type of data is called a transactional database. Each row is a different transaction. And within a transaction, you have items. Okay. You have items, and those items in general are sets. Of course, they can be sequences, but here they are sets. Sets का मतलब ये होता है कि those items necessarily do not have an order. जब आप बास्केट में लेके जाते हैं और चेकआउट करते हैं, जरूरी नहीं है कि मिल्क आप पहले लिखेंगे और बटर बाद में लिखेंगे. They could be written in different ways as well. So there could be butter and milk. So this is the same set. It has the same two items. कोई difference नहीं है order में. ठीक है? So that's why it's called a set. ठीक है? Now, the problem in frequent item set mining is, given such kind of databases, which is a transactional database, I want to find those sets of items that are bought together frequently. Of course, इसमें कुछ quantifications आएंगी, वो मैं थोड़ा सा बाद में बताऊंगा, अभी next बताऊंगा. Just in a layman terms, so we want to find things that are bought together frequently. ठीक है? So given, let's say, your typical grocery store का setting है, so off the head, which few things do you think people would buy together frequently? तो कुछ एग्जांपल्स दे सकता है मुझे?
Milk and tea, bread.
So bread, butter, for example, jam, eggs. So these things are usually bought together. For example, and they are bought by tons of people. Let's say जलालसन की आप बात करें जो phase 5 में है, उसमें lot of people would come in, buy bread every other day, and with bread they might buy tea or butter. So these items would be bought frequently together. Fabric softener, okay. How popular is that, by the way? मेरे ख्याल से तो ज़्यादा पॉपुलर नहीं है, मे बी अमंग स्टूडेंट्स काफ़ी होगा, बिकॉज जब मैं यूएस में था वहाँ भी मैं यूज़ करता था, बट आई डोंट नो, माय फैमिली इज नॉट यूजिंग इट हियर. सही है, ठीक है. ओके, so there are some things that are bought more frequently than others. So for example, if I make a combination, uh, let's say so for example, just to take an example, Rolex watch and bread, for example. So Rolex watch is a very expensive watch, and bread, would this be a frequent set of transactions, set of items that are bought together? No, because Rolex is very rare while bread is quite frequent, but together they will be very rare. Okay? So to put it more crisply, let me define the problem in notations, and then we'll precisely define the problem. Okay? So अब notations इसकी हम थोड़ी सी introduce करते हैं. So what do we have? So we have a set of items. I, this is a set. Okay? So small I1, I2, I3 to I, इसको मैं क्या दूंगा set के size को, let me call it M. ठीक है? So there are M distinct items. So set of items, or you can say distinct items, ठीक है, that can occur in transactions. ठीक है? So we also sometimes call this as vocabulary from, let's say, NLP, and sometimes also called the alphabet. So I is the vocabulary of interest. I is the alphabet of interest. In our case, let's say we are taking the example of market basket analysis. I would be the set of all items for sale at Jalalsan. Okay? So I1, for example, might be bread. And of course, granularity level आपने खुद ही specify करना है. Concept hierarchy की जो हमने बात की थी, that also defines the granularity. A bread, of course, is generic bread, or it could be further subdivisions. Bread by Dawn, bread by Bunny, bread by Jalalsan, and so on. Milk bread, brown bread, so on. So let's just make it simple and say bread. Okay? And similarly, I2 could be something else, let's say eggs. Okay? Okay? So that was the set of distinct items. So each transaction, let's say TI, each transaction TI could in general be a subset of with the equality. Okay? Not a proper subset, but subset only. Equal भी आ रहा है. यूं आपके पास जो लेटा हुआ उसको क्या कहते हैं, जो भी है, with a line underneath it. What would be a subset of I? ठीक है ना? अब जब भी आपको मार्केट जाते हैं, तो बास्केट भरते हैं, तो वो in the extreme case you might buy every item in the store, which is I. ठीक है ना? Of course, here we are not counting if someone has bought 2 breads. We are only considering a bread as a set. Bread लिया कि नहीं लिया. Of course, वो extensions हैं, वो हम आगे discuss करेंगे. ठीक है? So this is a transaction, And so what is a database or transactional database? Transactional database is basically a set of transactions, T1, T2, T3, Tn. ठीक है ना? So आपकी जो transactional database है, it's a set of transactions. So हमारे पास कुछ चीजें डिफाइन होगी, ये प्रॉब्लम सेटिंग डिफाइन होगी. Now what is our goal? So we want to find item sets X. I mean, X is all such item set X that occur frequently in transactional database. Again, I've used frequently. TDB is not a universal set. TDB is a database. ठीक है? Universal set में तो क्या होता है? I mean, it's everything else besides those items. ठीक है ना? It's not a universal set. So TDB is a set of transactions, and each transaction is a set of items. ठीक है? So यहाँ भी थोड़ी सी एक hierarchy है. So again, I've used the vague term frequent. So frequent कब define करते हैं? What is meant by frequent? So if X occurs more than some minimum support, or if S has some minimum support in TDB, then X is frequent. ठीक है? अब again minimum support आ गई. Minimum support is basically defined as the fraction of transactions, or minimum support or support is the fraction of transactions that contain that item set. ठीक है? So okay, so let me take a specific example. So आपके पास database मैंने ऊपर लिखा था. Let me write another database. Let me use now alphabet as A, B, C. ठीक है? So आपके पास A है, B है और C है. ये पहली ट्रांजैक्शन है. दूसरी A है, तीसरी B है और C है, और तीसरी A है और C, चौथी A ऐसी है. ठीक है? So N क्या हुआ हमारे पास इधर? 4. ठीक है? V क्या है हमारे पास? A, सॉरी V नहीं है. I क्या है? B and C, and of course M is equal to 3. ठीक है? Is this coming out fine? ठीक है. Okay. ठीक है? So now let me define an item X as A and B. ठीक है? So support of X is basically a number of transactions containing X divided by N, total number of transactions. ठीक है? So उस database में हमारे पास कितनी transactions में A और B दोनों आ रहे हैं? पहले में आ रहा है और ठीक है, सिर्फ एक में आ रहा है, राइट? ठीक है, तो ये फिर क्या होगा? So this would be 1/4, which would be 0.25 or 25%. ठीक है? So the support of this is 25%. And just to make a distinction, यहाँ ये oftentimes ये आगे हम use करते रहेंगे. Whenever we say support, it will be the relative frequency or the fraction of transactions that contain a particular item set. When we say support, count, or absolute support, so this is actual number. So in this case, support count of X would be basically 1. एक transaction में X आ रहा है, which is AB. ठीक है? अब यहाँ से ये तो मैंने एक item set की support निकाली. My goal actually is to not find the count of this. I want to find all item sets that have a support. Find all X such that support of X is greater than equal to some user specified minimum support. ठीक है? तो ये input है हमारा. तो अब ये problem frequent pattern mining की 100% complete हो गई है. So we need to have a transactional database. From that transactional database, you need to have a vocabulary or alphabet, which is a set of distinct items. Then the goal is now to find all such X's, which are item sets, that have a support that has a support greater than minimum support. Okay? So, and as I said, this min support is defined by the user in general. Of course, there are some techniques to help the user, but it is defined by the user. So for example, so let's say I say min support is 5% or 0.05. So now my goal is find all transactions, find all X that occur more than 0.05 in transactional database. ठीक है? All. अब all X में क्या होगा? उसमें single items भी होंगे, right? A, B, C, ठीक है ना? Set है ना ये भी. दो भी होंगे, A B का बनता है, A C भी बनता है, B C भी बनता है, A B C भी बनता है, and of course एक null भी होगा. ठीक है ना? So the number so what was the definition of support? Support basically the fraction of transaction that contain X. So support of X is basically, as I mentioned before, number of transactions containing X divided by N, total number of transactions. और minimum support user specified value है. जब किसी भी X की उस user specified threshold से ज़्यादा होगा, we want to find that. We consider that to be interesting. We consider that to be of interest to us and of value to us. So that is our data mining goal. ठीक है? जो ऊपर मैंने ये सारे निकाले हैं, ठीक है ना? A था एक item set, B भी था, C भी था, AB भी है, BC भी है, AC भी है, और ABC भी है. So how can you actually find all such item sets that have a support greater than minimum support? So what is the simplest way of doing that? So the simplest way, of course, is very simple. एक item set उठाएं, एक item set पहले A है, for example, A, मैं so set में ही डाल देता हूँ, just so that you understand. Set है ये. By the way, this is sometimes also called item set. One जो बता रहा है कि वो बता रहा है कि कितने elements हैं इस set में, ठीक है ना? So we will count the occurrence of A in the transactional database. So let's say अब उस हमारे ऊपर में था ABC था हमारे पास, और क्या था दूसरा था शायद A था, तीसरा BC था, और देन AC था. So A was occurring 3 times. ठीक है. So of course इसका count A था, support let's say 3 or 4 था, which is 75%. Let's say if our minimum threshold was 0.5, तो ये frequent होगा. Similarly we do for B, similarly we do for C, similarly we do for all other combinations. ठीक है. So, but it turns out that this is highly inefficient. So can someone guess why?
सर हमें सारे ट्रांजैक्शन के ऊपर करना पड़ रहा है बारी बारी जाके, इसके लिए इस वजह से.
Exactly. हर ट्रांजैक्शन में हर एक आइटम के लिए बार बार करना पड़ रहा है. ठीक है ना. एक तो ये है पॉइंट. ठीक है. और दूसरा ये है कि मतलब ओके इन ए रियल वर्ल्ड सिनेरियो आपका जो m है या जो i का साइज है विच वाज एक्चुअली m, ये कितना होगा. जलाल सन ले लें या हाइपर स्टार ले लें या कारफोर ले लें, उसमें ये m कितना बड़ा होगा.
सर काफी बड़ा होगा, ह्यूज
हाँ, काफी
size
बड़ा
होगा
होगा ना.
probably.
easily in the tens of thousands, easily in the tens of thousands. ठीक है ना. और ऊपर हमने सिर्फ 3 के लिए किया था. ठीक है ना. where 3m was 3, और हमारे पास कितने आइटम सेट्स आए थे 2 raised to power of 3 which is 8. ठीक है ना. so what about 2 raised to power of let's say 50, 1 2 3. this is going to be a massive number, you won't even be able to write down. ठीक है ना. सो इतने सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस, इतने सारे आइटम सेट्स आपने एक तो सेव रखने, या मतलब उनके सम फॉर्म ऑफ क्या कहते हैं उसको. ठीक है. तो सो बेसिकली हर एक का आपने एक कोई पॉइंटर रखना है या कोई इसका रजिस्टर रखना है जहां उसका काउंट बढ़ाते जाएंगे आप. एंड दिस नंबर इज ह्यूज. किसी मेमोरी में नहीं फिट आएगा, किसी इवन एक्सटर्नल डिस्क में भी नहीं फिट आएगा. ठीक है. दिस इज मैसिव. So obviously you can't rely upon this. So just a bit of combinatorics. So we are coming close to our quiz time. So so let's say आपके पास okay ये 3 लेते हैं, m is equal to 3. So how many 1 item sets do you have from this? From a combinatorics perspective वो किस तरह लिखेंगे हम. हम इसको लिखेंगे, anyone before I write it down. 3 choose 1, right? Which is of course 3 factorial, 3 factorial divided by 3 minus 1, 2 factorial, and so that would be 3. ठीक है ना. सो 3 आपके पास सिंगल आइटम्स हैं, जैसे A एक है, B दूसरा है, C तीसरा है. so इसी तरह हाउ मेनी 2 आइटम सेट्स होंगे. ये उसी तरह ही होगा. 3 choose 2, and then how many 3 item sets, that would be 3 choose 3. ठीक है ना. इन सारों का sum would be the total number of item set, which actually is the power set. So power set वही होता है 2 raised to power of 3, which in this case is 8. एक null of course होता है, which of course is irrelevant in our setting, but that's just one value. Combinatorics या big O form में doesn't play any role. ठीक है. So is this clear? So the power set of I are the total number of item sets that we need to track and count, which for most practical applications is infeasible. Okay? So I think I will probably stop here. So this actually leads us to algorithms to make this more efficient. So यहाँ से फिर हम probably next time start करेंगे. So are there any questions? Any questions? All right, so no questions. So actually I am looking at the participant list. Participant list में तो काफी थोड़े लोग नजर आ रहे हैं. तो क्विज के लिए लोगों ने लॉग इन नहीं होना, जूम पे भी आए और
Well,
LMS
it's
में भी आए.
101 participants.
अच्छा नजर आ रहे हैं. अच्छा मुझे को नहीं नजर
Yeah,
आ रहे.
101.
अच्छा.
So, okay, guys, please rename yourselves as I instructed you in the email. Also, please turn on your cameras. Inshallah, we will start at 6:05. Everyone,
नियमित
please turn on your cameras.
यार मैं पीसी यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, इस पे कोई वेबकैम नहीं है.
तो वेबकैम का जो है ना हमने अब रिक्वायरमेंट डाली भी है. सो यू शुड ट्राई टू इंश्योर के कैमरा हो, मोबाइल है या
Yeah,
किस पे है.
if you don't
And this would
have a
be kind of
laptop, you have a,
mandatory for the exams. अभी तो ये क्विजेज हैं, इसके लिए भी हम मैंडेटरी करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बट एग्जाम्स के लिए मैंडेटरी होगा. कोशिश करें कि कोई अप्रोच हो, मे बी यू कैन लॉग इन थ्रू योर मोबाइल फोन और समथिंग, so that we can keep a track of things.